I'm excited about this one, ladies and gentlemen. We are live here in prime time on the brightest lights, the biggest stage, and I can assure you, I'm not lost. I'm definitely not Limberlost because we've got one of the premier up-and-coming bands, and I'm going to show you something when I share my screen in a few minutes, and I'll tell you why. Because there's this big chart right now. Everybody knows in rock. It's the SMR chart, and this band's got their fourth single alone in the top 50. We'll talk about that. We'll definitely give it to you when it comes to that. We'll talk about the brand new album, Beautiful Scars. We're definitely not going to be alone. You're not going to be buried when you hear some of these things. And this is a band that has 2 videos out. Get this, lady. I've had on a lot of bands. I've had the WWE on. I don't even know if they've had a million views back to back. They'll talk about it. We're very honored here to have on. For those that are listening and watching here in prime time on the brightest lights, the biggest, but we're so excited that somebody wanted to try and call in, even with my phone off. But let's get this show off here in style. We have on Brittany Loren, who does some of the vocals, Mike Burt, the founder, and everybody knows this man from the bands Autograph and Metal Church, Mr. Steve Unger. Guys, congratulations on the success of the brand new single, and thank you so much for being here tonight on Sportswire Radio.
Right on. Thank you.
Thank you, man. Thanks for having us.
You got it. And let's get right into it because you guys have a new single out, and it's, as I just stated, hit the top 50 in the SMR charts. It's the 4th time you've had it. So talk to me about the success of Give It To Me. It's kind of almost a reworked version of what you did a few years past, and set the tables for us on the success and what it means to the band.
Woo! The success and what it means as a band. Oh, my gosh. Well, this is an interesting song because it's a song that we wrote and produced and actually released several years ago when we did our tour with Yngwie Malmsteen. We knew that we wanted to have some momentum and some build up because you know how this game works. So we wanted to have press release and campaign before we went there. And so we made a song and we released it in UK only. And that was the original Give It To Me. So the Give It To Me redo that you hear was our ability to take some of the tracks that we had already recorded and redo them, reprocess them, redo the vocals, redo a lot of it. In fact, we added so much that wasn't there in the beginning. The whole ending was added, which has like a nod to both metal and opera. So it's a very fun song. And then I ended up having a little bit more fun with it, where I took it into a little bit more of a dance place. And I initially did that as just as a let's see what happens, and then we all loved it. We all fell in love with just, oh my gosh, the energy, it matches, it's so good. And so I think it was it just needed the few final touches, and then it was done and complete. And so that's been a lot of fun, and we put it on the radio. I think it has been to date, I think it's our fastest song.
Rising.
So it's definitely
got jumped onto the chart pretty quick compared to the other 3 that we put out, but the other 3 did really good too. And the thing about this song is we actually wrote another EP as we were finishing the Beautiful Scar. Actually, before we released Beautiful Scars, we actually had already started on our new EP, Villain, and we took 2 of those songs out on the road with us this last year. So we have singles Villain, and we also have which is the title track, and Sugar. And those went over really well on tour and so forth. But then it just seemed like as we were finalizing the lineup for what's going to be on this next EP, that was like, we really dumped Give It To Me in this really awkward space coming out of the European tour. And then we didn't have the band we didn't really have the brand in a position to release a song and release that song. So it kind of sat in this nexus. And we were like, what about that one? So we went back and retooled it and send it to the radio guys.
And it ended up being so perfect because it's so now. It ended up being like, oh my gosh, our mantra for 2026. When you listen to the song, it's so empowering. Yep. And it's so about taking ownership and like, you know what I mean? Just
very, by the horns. It's very,
you know what I mean? Like,
let's get out there. I'm in New York and it feels like winter has been going. Unfortunately, like the Energizer Bunny, and this song is kind of like that in a way that there is something out there to look forward to. And it's definitely got that anthem like, almost. I could see it being played on Octane, on Sirius XM. I could see it just almost anywhere. And the amount of radio stations I saw on your website, we're going to put your website, we're going to put your Facebook, all that stuff up here in a few minutes. I mean, it's unreal in the amount of radio stations that have picked up on the song. And I think that's why we're really excited about it. And for you, Steve, I mean, what does it mean to you for the single's success so far?
Well, I've been blown away by the response. I mean, I know what I like, and I've when I was asked to be in the band, I listened to what they were doing, and I mean, I loved it. So that's why I'm in the band. But just the fact that Mike and Britt, I don't know what exactly they're doing, but they're doing some magic, and it's working. And it's just an amazing thing to see the work that you put your time and effort into actually turning into something and doing what so many people are trying to do.
Yeah, absolutely. No question about that. And obviously this is the link where you can buy the single, and it's only $1. So, I mean, who doesn't have $1? Even if you may be struggling in other ways, the best way to support the band is by buying the single, and you can do that here on the Limberlost Music Shopify page. You got a bunch of other stuff there, so you can get it in a bunch of different versions and a number of different things, and I would highly recommend that you get it out here, and we're honored to have the band. So, with the success of this single, and obviously the YouTube videos that have hit the millions, I'll put the YouTube link up here in a second. Does this maybe inspire you guys to maybe play some more dates later? I know last year you did a run in August and September, but obviously now with the 4th single, right, on the SMR charts, and I'll put up that chart. I actually have the chart in front of me, and I want to talk about the magnitude of that. But does that maybe say to you guys, you know what, I want to get out there and play more, because now the fans are into you guys? I'd be curious on that.
Oh yeah,
I certainly hope so. I mean, that's where we have fun. That's where we make money, and that's how we actually reach the people on a personal level, instead of just we hear their song on the radio and it's cool, I like it, but when you come and you see the band live, you kind of get a better perspective of what we are and who we are, and I think I'm pretty damn adorable, so people fall in love with us.
It's the glasses. It's definitely the glasses.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, I agree. I think that putting the music out there is always been to make the live show. In fact, most of the songs that we write, certainly this new album, was always written with the stage show in mind, with how we're going to perform it in mind, with doing it live in mind. Sugar, for instance, was written entirely around getting a crowd to sing with you. So, it's and I have a lot of fun with that. I look at it as a really fun challenge of how to make that live performance just amazing. And all of our music is written around it. So having said that, we do have a lot of stuff coming up that, just we can't announce it until they announce it.
I know the deal.
But definitely follow us, because we're going to be all around the U.S., different places. We're going to be doing all kinds of fun stuff this coming year, and you'll be able to hear all of that stuff.
Basically, I
don't know what we can announce and can't.
Well,
but he does.
I would say that we're going to certainly be following your social medias, which I'm going to be putting up shortly in a second, where we'll find out more information. That is certainly where we're going to get that information when that time.
I can tell you for certain that we will be back out at the rally this year. So we will be.
I know you guys have played Sturgis a bunch of times, and Sturgis is always kind of, I was going to say, and Sturgis to me is, interesting, because you guys have definitely not heard this before. But see, I'm a wrestling fan, and years ago there was WCW, and which was World Championship Wrestling, the rival at the time to the WWE, and they would play Sturgis. They would have a show, and they'd have they would call it Hog Wild, whatever it was, and it was a big deal to play in Sturgis, around that August time. And I was going to ask you guys, what is that like playing Sturgis? Because I've always, since I was a kid, always had been fascinated about Sturgis, because I remember it from the wrestling world.
Well, Steve's been like an OG out there, man. He's been playing a lot longer than us, but it's one of the world's biggest parties, man. I don't know.
It's crazy. It's just a good time. That's at the end of the day. Be safe. Come and be safe. Plan to be safe. You know what I mean? Don't be on a whim, because there have been it can be unsafe. But it is just a lot of fun. Everybody there is very kind. I've never been where I've felt I've seen rudeness or anything. I've always felt like everyone is really cool and everyone is just ready to party, and everyone knows that you might not talk to them again. Yay!
Yeah. What happens in
It's
Sturgis?
just what happens
Yeah,
in Sturgis. It just and I loved the vibe of that. I thought that there's a lot of freedom there. There's a lot of freedom and love in Sturgis. It's surprising to say that, but it's true. And then, of course, there's really cool
2026 or 2025 and such.
Well, we didn't go to 2020.
2025, we were playing this last year. We were playing the Gulf Coast and doing the ISO Awards.
26 you'll be there. So I say 25, 26 is kind of that vibe where you can just go out and be yourself, which I think is important.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good year out there.
This year is gonna be insane. They have so many big acts.
They got Megadeth out there at the Buffalo Chip already announced. Rob, there's a venue we possibly will be playing at. It's got Rob Zombie and Sammy Hagar and Jackal, and it's
I saw the Jackal one. I did see that on Facebook. I saw Jackal because Jesse James Dupree had put the post about that. I did see Jackal announced. I did see that.
Yeah, so they got huge names.
Yeah, so it's gonna be it's gonna be fun. We have another festival that we've contracted, we've inked, but because of where we are on the thing, we will be a main stage act. We just aren't the main stage act, and until they announce that guy or person or whatever, we can't say what we're doing. But that's done. We're working on a couple others. There's just things that you know the deal.
We're under NDA. Sure. What they're gonna say. We'll plead the fifth. That's what we'll do.
Exactly. Yeah, you might see us on a cruise. You might see us again in Florida. You might see us again in the South. All of these things are things that we have been putting together for this year. But as those contracts go, so we can't announce dates and locations. But keep a lookout because we have a lot of places we're gonna go this year. Definitely, we're gonna be up in the what would you call that? The north? What would you call that? Sturgis area.
Oh, Midwest.
Midwest. We'll be there.
Yeah, I would say Midwest. I don't. It's not the Northwest where you guys are from. I would say Midwest.
Okay, Midwest.
I don't know. Yeah. I'm in New York, so for me, everything's west compared to New York.
Well, we're actually
everything is west.
We're actually in Phoenix, and Steve's in LA. So, I'm sorry you're in New York because I'm sure it's really cool.
I know. Trust me, believe me. I've thought about this for the last 6 weeks since we've had winter, but nevertheless, it's all fine and well, and we'll see you guys out there at some point, sometime, and somewhere, and Sturgis will be one of those places.
Oh yeah. No, there'll be many more. We just, again, like I said, we're still in the process of putting things together. We're a little behind the 8 ball on the tour. We had a tour possibility that we kind of sunk our teeth into early. That kind of took us off the table for some other things, and then that didn't work out. So
it happens, it happens.
Okay, that's what happens. That's the biz.
You go forward.
Yep.
I mean. All right. Well, I do want to show something because I talked about it here on the chart, and I want to talk about the magnitude. And I really want to push "Give It to Me" because people really need to go out there and buy the single. People really need to go out. So it's an outstanding song. I've gotten a chance to hear it several times, and it's only been 5 days or so since the single came out, whatever it is. And think about this, ladies and gentlemen. And I have the chart here in front of me. And this is where Limberlost is with. You think about the acts. I mean, there's a guy, you heard of, Mammoth Van Halen, Wolfgang Van Halen. He's number one. Then you see Daughtry. Everybody knows Daughtry, right? Then you got Limp Bizkit, Alter Bridge, Chevelle, Shinedown. Yeah, there's that little band, Guns N' Roses. Not too big, Deftones. And this is in Hailstorm. And then, ladies and gentlemen, there's Limberlost. There is Limberlost. Think about the magnitude of the chart that you're on. You're on the chart with the one and only almighty Guns N' Roses, Limp Bizkit, Hailstorm, Van Halen, Alter Bridge. I mean, I can keep going. Daughtry. I mean, Volbeat. Volbeat's had countless number one hits on the rock chart. I mean, I think that to me is quite a statement to what this band is doing. That you're on the same chart with a who's who of some of the biggest bands, not just in the world, but in rock and roll history.
Thank you,
Yeah.
man. Thank
We-
you. That's
we
how we
told-
feel.
We told those guys they could hang around us anytime.
We're just there to make them look good, you know.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. No, we are so honored. You
Yeah.
know, just it's amazing for us to see that. And we also hope to just keep climbing and keep making a presence and a name for ourselves. And hopefully you'll see us on the bill with some of those names too. So
I think we will, and I think also what's also important is this is just the first week of the single, and you think about the amount of stations that added this already. I mean, some of these acts have been on the charts for weeks. I mean, you can go up and down the list and see how many weeks that they've been on the chart, but yet you guys are only on this chart for a week, and you added 69 stations. 69 stations. Think about that, ladies and gentlemen. 69 weeks. So that tells you the magnitude of this, and that's why everybody needs to go out and support the band. And I'm very, very excited about what Limberlost has. And, you know, I want to talk about Beautiful Scars, because Beautiful Scars, I've gotten a chance to hear the album. I'm going to put that link up for it also. And, you know, I think for me, you know, a couple of my favorite tracks were Blood on Bone, Men on Their Own, Buried, and obviously Alien. I mean, talk to me about, you know, just I listen. I mean, I have the YouTube link for the videos, but, you know, just talk to me about, you know, the album and just what was it like putting it together. And maybe, you know, I know it's hard for band members to pick their favorite songs, but, you know, what are some of your favorite songs off the album to work on?
That's tough. That's tough because they're all, to me, they're all really good songs.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
They're all really good songs, and they just each of them has a different feel. I mean, when I first heard the tracks, my favorite song was "Man on the Run."
Now I love that song. Love the video.
Yeah.
With it. Great song.
I just like the upbeatness of it and everything. But then, you know, the more you listen to the rest of the album, you know, songs like "Alone" and "Buried" really start standing out to me as well, just because of the emotion that's in them and everything. And they're catchy songs where people listen to them and they hear them and they get the familiar sound, but something is a little different than what they're used to, and so it resonates with them and it sticks with them. And I think that's where we've been having a lot of luck, and that's one of the reasons why I think we're doing so well on the charts.
Yeah. The word "sticky," yeah, that's a good one. I don't mean anything.
Well, I mean, think about Sticky, right? You want to remember the song, right? And you guys have that almost I don't want to say in the pocket, but a lot of these songs you remember. There's the hook. There's obviously you got the solos, you got the keyboard playing. I love what Tony brings to the table from a keyboard perspective, and obviously your son, and you know I gotta throw that out there. And, you know what Sammy's brought to the table, but you guys all bring something that blends these songs together, and that's why I kind of feel like that you remember them. You know, sometimes you listen to albums, you know, yes, I still buy music, and you listen to it once or twice and you forgot about it. But with these songs, you know, Alone, Buried, Man on the Run, I mean, just again, Blood on Bone, you're gonna remember these, and you're gonna almost say, you know what, these are gonna stand the test of time.
Well, let's hope so.
thank you, man.
Yeah,
Thank you very
great.
much.
That's the idea.
Yeah, that it was so interesting because you know, Beautiful Scars, we had the majority of that concept because it's a concept album. It's a concept around
Japanese, right?
Kinsey.
Japanese
Yeah,
song.
exactly. And so you take that on as a human being. So, you know, humans are born these perfect things, but then we go through life and we get these scars and we have this stuff that happened to us. We put all this meaning, and what if we made that meaning? What if we turned that to gold, right? What if all of that is what made us more beautiful? So that was kind of what the album was about, you know, some self-discovery of your own stuff and then owning it in the end and loving it and finding the beauty in it, right? So that was kind of what our album was about. And then interestingly, Limberlost itself had to go through that a little bit, where we you know, a lot of the band left.
I noticed you guys have had lineup changes, but you know, sometimes bands go through lineup changes, and you know, you look at it and go, I don't know. But with you guys, it seems like it's, listen, by far, it's tenfold addition by some, you know, addition here and some. I mean, what you guys have brought to the table in this album, and, you know, it's been out now for, you know, a little over half a year. I mean, just, unbelievable work. And obviously Steve's so excited about being in the band that his screen kind of flickered there. But no, I'm only kidding there. But no, I mean, I think the musicianship is what to me stands out most about this. I know you guys have done a lot of interviews. And everybody talks about, the history of the band. And I got that. I got people need to know more about you guys. But to me, people try to label you guys. People say, well, you originally, the ideas from Seattle. And they talk about grunge. And they talk about Jimi Hendrix. They talk about Queensryche. Obviously, we know Metal Church, Seattle, and blah, 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 blah. But to me, what stands out most about the band, which I want to throw out the title to me, is you were a musician's band. My dad was a drummer. My mom sings. My brother plays the drums. I attempted to play, but I'm attempting to try to do this. We'll see how this works. But really, to me, what you guys are in everything that I hear sonically and also especially on Beautiful Scars is you're a musician's band.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
That's a good compliment. Thank you.
It really is, and
well, there's things within the music, we even, when Brittany and I first started putting this concept together and writing the songs and then thinking of things, there was these little, because she's classically trained and knows
opera,
more about
opera background,
opera, but this woman knows more music stuff, things, I mean, terms and things, I mean, I hit stuff, and it was funny because we do something, she'd go, oh, you know what, that's a diminished blah blah blah, did you see how we did that? And we should go here, and and it's like,
I had a lot of fun, but I also had a lot of fun breaking rules, because I'd spent I don't know how many years of my life going into studios, and it's like, oh, you have to do this and you can't have pauses, and when you have a lot of other creative influences, sometimes I don't know, I saw this meme that was like, look, it's perfect now, and it was like a pizza with a chicken and M&Ms, and just it's
oh my god, I've had this I'm in New York City and I grew up in Brooklyn. I've had this conversation. Somebody asked me once, do you put like all these chicken and sausage and even meatball, and I'm like, no, I go plain. Since the day I'm born, I was plain. I mean, once in a blue moon something, but yeah, I don't even do pepperoni. So I understand what you're saying about music, and sometimes you put all these things together and it doesn't make sense. Chicken M&Ms on pizza does not make sense. I mean, I get that totally.
So there was a lot of the last album that was kind of, well, the best way to say it would be without that influence. It was really just like my own influence, right? Like what I wanted to do. So there's a lot of pauses and there's a lot of interesting stuff, and there's a lot of, we went back and forth together, but we didn't have like 3 months of waiting at a studio or doing a lot of stuff, because we did a lot of it in home studio, it was a completely different vibe, and I feel like the product ended up stronger because of it. So,
yeah,
being self-produced, being self-produced can be a risk, because
absolutely.
But at the same time, if you do if you do strike a chord magically, or lightning in a bottle, as people like to say it, then you don't have to sit there and overthink it. You can kind of continue. Sure. Oh, we found a formula that's working here. Now we don't have five. We don't have a producer and an engineer and all these people that want to give us their input, and God bless all those that have worked with us over the years and stuff, but because we've learned, we
have learned a lot,
but we also know what we wanted to hear, and sometimes you don't get what you wanted to hear when you got all these other people involved.
I think all you view as a band are, tremendous players in what you do. I mean, obviously Sammy brings a lot to the band. Yeah. Steve, your son, brings a lot to the band. Tony brings a lot to the band. So I think that's why you guys have what this product is out. Let me ask you all this question, and I don't know how you think about this. I know you guys have been around a while, but in listening to your previous work compared to Beautiful Scars, I almost feel like this is a new Limberlost in a way. Even though the band's still been around, you guys have have a history. I got that. The people have seen you and you've done different things. I saw there's been tours, but I feel like this is almost a new band in a sense. Do you guys feel the same way on that?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, actually, that was why we dropped Beautiful Scars, the full album. We had we had our manager, our distributor, everybody that we called, that we talked to, our producer, everybody that we were talking to was like, no, you need to do the single thing. You know what I mean? That's the game now.
Yeah, I'm friends with an artist, and that's what he does. He puts out with his band. It's a single every like 3-4 months.
Single. Well, that's the game. You know, that's the real game. That's what you do. Sorry, Mike's getting a call.
Well, listen, he's a famous man because it's probably about a tour. It's probably about a new video you guys should work on, or another thing that's added.
Hopefully, they'll leave a voicemail. But yeah,
it's Walgreens. My Viagra's ready.
Well, listen, I'm sure that with the success of the new single, you can get plenty of that. But I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, listen, you guys are famous. That's what it is. I mean, you guys get calls left and right. I mean, listen, you know, that's how it goes. But I feel like it's a new band. That's what it is. I feel you guys are a new band.
It is.
Yeah,
it is.
And to finish on what Brittany was saying is that, you know, yeah, we played the game, you know, with the single game, and we do really listen to our mentors. But in this particular situation, number one, it was a concept album, so every song kind of told a piece of the story in our minds, anyway. And then also it was like, you know, you said it's a new band, so all of a sudden Alien hits, and people are like, whoa, what? Wait, what? Limberlost, what? and we wanted them to be able to, and especially the new people that were discovering us, because it was the first song we really got to go out and really push on the SMRs and stuff. And we really kind of now entered into this world of promotion and marketing that we weren't actually able to do before, you know, because our music was a little more bluesy, a little more dated, maybe, you know.
Well, it was just a different vibe before.
It
was lovely, and we love all of our post material, but our new material definitely brought in a little more metal. I think that's something that Sammy definitely Sammy and Steve here bring to the band a little bit. Is there's
Steve's only a metal Hall of Famer, so you're gonna definitely
So suddenly we have, it's harder, it's a little edgier, it's the production of it is a little bit more modern, and you know what we decided as a business was, wow, that one song will stand out so much that we need to just drop the whole album. So when you find us, you find all of that material.
Yeah,
that's a good point.
You know?
Good point.
And so now the new EP is like, give it to me.
Now I'd love to talk about the new EP.
Well, you can't do that because it's not out there. But, you know, Steve, I was curious because you are in this band and you've been in some other big bands. Obviously, people know Autograph, people know Metal Church. So how do you feel your role in this band is like versus, let's say, when you were in Autograph or Metal Church?
Oh, no, Steve, we can't hear you.
He's on mute.
Steve,
maybe that's why he's telling me not to ask him that question. Let's see if we'll try it again.
We're trying. Not yet. No. I saw. God damn it!
I should not have asked that question. That's the sign. But if you're here right now, do me a favor. I'll put the YouTube link up. Hit the sub button again for Limberlost. It's at Limberlost Music. And get this, they have 113,000 YouTube subscribers. I repeat, 113,000. I am friends with people that have been some pretty lofty places, and they don't have the subs that Limberlost does. So while Steve tries to figure this out, you should very much figure out to hit that notification button and subscribe to Limberlost. Go to limberlostmusic.com. You can see those two videos, Buried and Alien, which have a combined 4 million views. I repeat, not 4,000, not 40,000, 400,000, 4 million views. So go out there, hit the sub button for them. We are very honored to have them on here. I'm going to go and pull the hockey line changer and go take this guy off the screen, bring this guy back on. And Steve, I am sure that the music guys are telling me not to have asked that question to you, but I'll still try it one more time. What is being in Limberlost like in your role compared to when you were in Autograph and Metal Church?
Okay, can you hear me now?
I can hear you as clear as a whistle.
So it's really tough to compare them because they're all different, completely, totally different animals. Autograph was a very fine-tuned their business. You know,
yeah, there's a model. I got that.
Yeah. I would get an email. Okay, here's the date. Here's your flight. You know, meet us at this pickup zone. We get there. All the gear is sitting in the back line waiting. All you do is plug your stuff in and do the show. Stay the night, wake up, fly to the next show, and then we would do 2 or 3 shows in a row and then fly home. And that's the way that was. Metal Church would depend. Sometimes we did just flying stuff, and sometimes we did. We got on a tour bus and actually toured. Now with Limberlost, we're working towards doing all of that. Even though the band's been around for, it's been around a while. It's just now really getting its feet underneath it, and we need to get the band to touring like that, whether it's jumping on planes or getting on a tour bus, but we got to get out and play. So it's a completely different animal. And as far as my role goes, I mean, I've got a lot of touring experience, so that's where I can offer some advice and how the best way to do things. And the band's kind of a democracy, so everybody listens, and we come up with the best plan, and then we put it in action, and hopefully you'll be seeing us out on the road this summer implementing that action.
I think with the amount of singles that you have that have hit radio, I think that's an easy yes. That's a slam dunk. I was also curious, Steve, and what's it like being in a band with your son?
Oh, it's awesome. I mean, my son Devin and I, well, both my kids, but my son Devin and I have been very close ever since he was born. I was involved in helping them with his own band, Sin Circus. I managed them for a long time, and taught them how to play their instruments. And then they learned, and then they surpassed the teacher. So they left me back here in the dust, and they're both way better players than I am. But it's awesome to look over on the other side of the stage and just watch my son just tearing it up, and people are looking at him, and everybody makes comments. Oh my God, that guy's tearing up the guitar, and I'm like, yep, that's right, I made that thing.
Oh, listen, you definitely did. You definitely did.
Yeah, and
you did a good job.
It's really cool just watching him just go over there tear it up. And I mean, we play together in another band called The King Alive in '85, which is kind of a casino show that we do to have some fun. And so I'm used to playing with him. Even when Sin Circus, his band started, they had trouble finding a bass player. So I was their bass player for the first couple of years until they could find a kid that was, up to their level of playing. Not every 12-year-old knows how to play the guitar or the bass as well as they did. So until we found a guy that could, and that ended up being my youngest son saying, well, you know what, Dad, you sing and play bass, so I'm going to do the same thing. And then he filled the shoes, and then there was no need for me to be in Sin Circus anymore. So I took over, I took over the management role, and then they took off, and they did a lot of cool things. But yeah, it's awesome playing with Devin.
No, I could definitely see that, and my dad always wanted to play with my brother because my brother played the drums, and then my dad played a little bit of guitar, but more of the drums, and my mom sang. So that was always my dad's dream. And I don't know if I necessarily achieved that, but my brother did play in bands, so I could appreciate that. And obviously there's this guy that's also on the SMR charts at the top of it named Wolfgang Van Halen. And we know he famously played with his father, God rest his soul. So if you're out there on Instagram, also follow Limberlost. My name is the Reverend Tom Bryce, your voice, figuratively and literally, where all music matters here in Sportswire Radio. We're here for about 15 or 20 minutes with the gang. We're very honored to have Brittany Loren, also Mike Burt, also the drummer. Brittany sings, and you are seeing Mr. Steve Unger, who plays bass for the band. They have a brand new single out, Give It To Me. It's a redo from the 2023 song they did back in the UK and also other parts of Europe. And you can go download it, buy it, especially on the My Shopify page of Limberlost, also with the sub button for them on YouTube. And we are very honored to have them here for a little while longer. We're going to give the band something in a few minutes, but until then, like, share, and subscribe to the interview. We want to thank Shauna O'Donnell also for the opportunity to speak with the band. And I did want to ask you, Brittany, because you are singing also with Sammy, and people tell you, oh, it's unique, it's hard, but I mean, I've seen this before. I mean, I've seen a lot of music, and what's it like then having Sammy now in the band for your vocals and what we've seen on the album? And talk to me just maybe from a music approach now, what Sammy brings to the table for you and what your role, and I know you guys played a bunch of shows last year, but also on this new record and the new single, and what's it like singing with Sammy?
Oh, it's a lot of fun because Sammy and I go way back. We got our degrees together actually in opera.
In Arizona, right? Northern Arizona.
Yeah, we did. And so the very first time Sammy and I were on stage together was in an opera. And so that's been a really cool change and turn around and thing, like full circle for us. So, we have a lot of chemistry and we come from a similar background. And so it's just been absolutely fun. It's been fun to take the music and to put it into each of our voices and make it, make it fit. And we actually flew her to Houston to record several things. And that was a lot of fun. I know that definitely in our new material that's coming up, for instance, Give It To Me, the ending of that was absolutely, inspired by Sammy and Sammy's joining of the band. That there is a bit of this hazy scream if you listen. That's all Sammy's addition to the band. So it's been a lot of fun. It's been a good turn of events, as I would say. So
I was wondering, for the band as a whole, you guys, the ISAR Awards, you got to play it this past summer. You guys certainly had a huge role in that, and that's a big deal because of just what that means, the magnitude of it. From my understanding, Beautiful Scars was submitted for a Grammy nomination at the same time. And I wanted to ask you, what was it like for you guys as a band to play the ISAR Awards this past summer?
Whew! Well, Steve,
it was amazing to play there, but boy, it was tough getting there. I think we drove 15 hours straight or something like that to make.
Well, you guys could be in the wrestling business. I get wrestlers on every night I'm live, and they drive 6 hours here, 9 hours there, 12 hours there. Boy, I didn't realize I was talking to wrestlers today, but Limberlost, oh boy.
Yeah, we
had a show.
We played in Biloxi, Mississippi the night before, right?
Yeah, sure.
That's like 7 hours from there, and we had to be there at 7 a.m. because we were backlining the show.
But then there was this thick fog, if I remember correctly. Oh, it was just terrifying.
Yeah. So we played a whole show, set up, tear down, set
None
up.
None of us had slept.
No sleep to Brooklyn, and then all the way to Atlanta, and then we immediately unload, set up, sound check. And
I have to say, I remember walking out of that show just feeling like, oh my gosh, I did not sing my best, and it was so hard, and blah, blah, blah. And then I listened to the recording, and damn, are we good? Like, man, wow.
Well, no sleep for 30. Show. I think it was 32 hours with 32
no sleep. 32 hours with
no sleep. Wow.
And we sounded kick ass, so that recording, you can go find it. You can find it.
Yeah, I watched the performance, because obviously you guys have a very active YouTube channel, which I'm a big YouTube guy. And, it would amaze me. And I had heard that story you talked about. You played a gig before, you traveled as far as you did, and you had to set up and to be able to do what you did, I mean, just that's quite a performance. I can't wait when you guys have a few hours sleep. You guys will be forget about it. You guys will be the greatest band that ever is live. I mean, forget about they would say about Kiss being the greatest band live, or it'll be Limberlost.
Yeah. I had to take the blame for that one, because when I booked all this stuff and I was putting it all together, I did not have the concept or clue that it was a 8 a.m. stage call. For the ISO Awards.
We were really thinking it'd be in the afternoon evening.
Sure.
Oh my God.
Oh, we can still make it.
Well, now that we've committed to all this, let's go. Yay, team. And we did. We pulled it off,
but, we did.
But the funny thing about the Ices is we go way back on the Ices. Tammany Dove, who runs the Ices, she's, her and I first met on a little internet radio station thing, probably back in 2017.
It was like Music Box or something like that.
Music Mafia.
Music Mafia, yeah.
And we were both, bands or acts that were on there, and we, they had the chat. It was a pretty active little group, and it was funny because that was right about the time she was starting the International Singer-Songwriter Association, and so we were probably one of the first couple hundred people to join.
Wow.
That. We have a little flag there, as we were the Seattle representative, and stuff. And I think it was that next year we won Album of the Year with
I saw that. I did see that.
And then a couple of years after that, we won Band of the Year in 2021, right out of the COVID year.
Yeah.
And all that time she was like, "Oh, you guys got to come play. You got to come play. You got to come play."
Well, in fact, we had built a whole idea to go there, and then COVID.
And then COVID hit and destroyed that whole tour.
Yeah.
And it was built off of going to the ices. And then, and then of course we also, one of our big goals and dreams is to play Sturgis. And so these guys would always book their ISO awards right at the same weekend, and of course we're going to take Sturgis, so we 4 years in a row we were at Sturgis, and then this whole thing popped up where they wanted us to come down and headline, and we really didn't have any Sturgis dates set, so it was kind of like it just made sense to go and launching the new album, and we ended up winning Video of the Year down there.
Well, and we'd never played the South, something that we realized as we were selling records, which we sold more records than we've ever sold of anything physical albums. Yeah, it's been amazing. All across the U.S. We started realizing how many people were buying them from that part of the world, from the South, from Florida, from Pennsylvania. And so we decided that it would actually be better. It's better for our time. Let's do a Southern tour. So we did build that, and we did it, and we succeeded. And we're going back. We're going to be doing more Florida dates. I don't know. I hope we hit Pennsylvania. We don't have that inked yet, but you'll definitely see us in new places.
I have a lot of friends in Pennsylvania, so we'll certainly plug that. I have a lot of friends, and they come on my platform regularly. So we will definitely, if you come to Pennsylvania, you get out that way, or even somehow you get to the Big Apple. We certainly.
Oh yeah, we can do that. Yeah, we can do that. Yeah. Like I said, it's just everything is kind of in a haze right now, based on some other things that we have to sign and so forth, but that's the ultimate goal.
I'm yours, and I did want to put it up on the screen because I had the poster of it, or the photo from your Instagram page, and I wanted to ask you guys collectively about it, because I think this is such a tremendous honor in a Grammy consideration. Obviously, the fact that the album is nominated, or considered for nomination. I mean, what does that mean for the band to be, at least thrown out there to be considered for a Grammy?
That in itself, I thought was pretty awesome. Would have been great to win one, but I don't think any of us really expected that was going to happen.
No.
Yeah, I mean,
it's definitely a club, and we're not in it yet, but
listen, if you're in the Heavy Metal Hall of Fame, Steve, you'll famously know that the first heavy metal Grammy winner was Jethro Tull. So I mean, listen, the Grammys have always not gotten it right. I mean, so from that standpoint, historically, I mean, by the time, let's say, 2033 rolls around, I think you'll win the Grammy. I hate to put it that way, but we know the history. We know the history of the Grammys. We
do. It was, to get the nod, I think, is a thing, because for us as songwriters and performers to have your content considered, to say,
Absolutely.
That's a good song, or that's a good
I'm
album.
friends with a guy that's a rapper, and he got submitted. He submitted, and he got it. I know it's a big deal to have it, so it's it doesn't matter what your genre is, just to say, okay, it was considered, even if he didn't win. I mean, it's still, I think the Grammys, regardless of what people think of who wins, it still carries something. And I think it just shows that you guys are an award-winning band. There's just something about you guys, that you guys are just, you're growing and growing and growing. And I think that that's really, to me, the testament, the ISARs, and then obviously the Grammy nomination, the 4 top 50 singles in the SMR charts, who's on it. That's why I like to share my screen, because I want to get this right. I know, Steve, you may have something like this already, but I want to do it because I have one of these, and which means you guys are now in my Hall of Fame, which is the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame. So congratulations. I will give this to Shauna, and I figured I'll do it while I have a chance, and probably 2-3 years from now, when you put out more music and do more award-winning videos and tours and million-viewed videos on YouTube and elsewhere, I figured they'll put you in a Hall of Fame. So let me go out there and do that now while I have a chance. So congratulations, and congratulations on the success of the single. I definitely think that there'll be more top 50 singles ahead, and I think Give It To Me is not staying at number 50. I think it's going to go up and up like your previous 3 singles. So I have no doubt that we're going to be seeing you guys buried in that top 50 and even higher and higher. So congratulations on that, and we'll give you that there. And I did want to ask you, you mentioned management, Paul Crosby. Obviously, we know Saliva. We know the amount of success that they've had, chart-topping hits, million-selling plus albums, countless tours. What does Paul Crosby's management bring to the band?
Similar to Steve, there's a ton of experience, I mean, I would say this to anybody that's doing, and this applies to almost any endeavor, not just music, but yeah, I think if you want to get to certain places, and I think you said this yesterday, we're on a topless mountain, there's no such thing as the top, and it's going to be different for everybody. But if you are climbing, you want to surround yourself with people that have also climbed or are climbing, and it's better actually if they're still climbing, because as we know, the music business changes daily.
Yeah.
And I think Paul's experience, I think his drive.
He's a great advisor. I mean, we're on the phone with him probably every day.
Yeah,
and he's giving us advice.
Just about. And he's great sense of humor. I mean, he's just a cool hang.
Well, we've ended up kind of striking a bit more of a symbiotic relationship. Yeah.
We do other business. We help him with his we have things we've learned as an independent band that we've been successful at, and so we bring those to the table as a part of the management structure. So we do things for his other bands and stuff too. So he utilizes us for some of the marketing and some of the designs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And
it's a lot of fun.
And it's like, there's things that I've been able to go out and do, and connections I've made that I've been able to bring back to the team and stuff. So, I mean,
Paul got us our Ingve tour. Paul has gotten us some of our sponsors. So
and then
just set us up with some in-ears. So it's definitely, it's cool. It's symbiotic and it's a lot of fun.
And he's, and it's Saliva, I mean,
I know, I love Saliva.
Josie, I mean, we know Josie, we know Bobby.
I interviewed Josie. I know Josie very well. One of my other friends who I know from the wrestling world is really good friends with Josie. So I get asked a lot about Josie. So Josie's an awesome dude. It was an honor to have him.
He's an amazing songwriter. Yeah, he's an amazing songwriter.
He is.
He's
and just as you guys are.
No, thank you.
But
so it's their whole trajectory and stuff, and the fact that they're still relevant. I think Paul called me, it was 2 days ago or something like that, and he was all fired up, and he said, "Man, I was so pissed off this morning." His sister or something called him and said, "Hey, they're using your song in a video or
some kind of
I heard something. Yeah, there was somebody messaged me the other day about something that they were in, and I forget what it was.
Like an ad for some drug, and it was like stab, click boom. Or something, stab your
arm. I did. What's funny? You said, "What a small world," because somebody messaged me because they said, "Oh, did you see what they used click click boom for?" And I was like, "No," and I did hear the same story that you did. Yeah, it's crazy.
He was all wigged out about it at first. So he's calling he goes, "I had to call my lawyer," and I'm like, and he goes, and then he goes, "Well, there's 5 songwriters on that song, so you need to call them." He calls Josie, and Josie goes, "Oh yeah, Doug, our old bass player." He goes, "Yeah, he set that up, and we knew it was coming, and it's all good, and we're getting paid." And he's like, "Oh, cool, we're in an ad, So then he went to be a pissed.
I'm getting paid. Oh, cool.
Well, what? That was funny. You said that when I was a kid, one of the things my dad always said was that you want to get your song featured either in a movie or a commercial because that's where the money was. He always said, never forget that. I didn't believe him. It was like 20, 30 years ago, he would say, you want to get a jingle, you want to get your music in a commercial because that's where the money's going to be. He was like, I'm telling you, that's where. And I was like, what? But like you said, that's where the money is, and that's what's great to have Paul as a manager for you guys, and hopefully Paul hears this, and I'll make sure he does because I know how to do things, and we'll make sure that we get some Limberlost music like Alien and Buried especially in some commercials, so that way the band can really continue to grow. And we know we've got the 4 singles in the top 50 of the SMR charts over the past year, and we're going to continue that. So, Paul, I'm just going to let you know what we need to do is to get Alien and Buried or some other songs, Blood on Bone, whatever else we've got, give it to me, especially the next one, and get that in a commercial somewhere. I'm sure we can make that happen. So I'm just going to put that out there. We're shooting my shot. And we'll move on. But Steve, I got to ask you obligatorily, what did it mean to you get inducted into the Metal Hall of Fame back in 2020?
Oh, well, that pretty mind blowing. I mean, I never set out to achieve things like that. I just wanted to not have a real job in the world, play music, be able to sleep till you want to wake up. I just always wanted my life to be music, and it's just kind of cool that somebody actually took notice of it, and they're like, man, we're going to induct this guy into the Metal Hall of Fame, and at first it was a lot like when we first started hearing about the Grammy nomination. I was like, wow, that's pretty cool, and then all of a sudden it happened, and they handed me my Metal Hall of Fame statue, and I keep that thing in my with all my collectible stuff, and it's a cool thing to be in a club like that.
Absolutely.
Especially alongside of all the other names that are in there. I mean,
oh my God, the list is it's an amazing list. It's a great list.
So when you're like, laying in bed at night contemplating your life to see if you did things or not, you're like, well, at least I did that. So check it off the bucket list.
I couldn't agree anymore. I know I got a few more minutes with you guys. I did want to ask you, when you see Alien and Buried get 2.1 million and 1.8 million views respectively on YouTube, like, do you know when you're making these videos and it hits the numbers it did, do you know, okay, this is going to, I'm really curious. I know all of you have done a lot of great things. We've talked a lot about that. I just brought up what Steve's accomplished, but Alien and Buried hit 2.1 million and 1.8 million views. You got to talk to me about what's going through your mind when you get those numbers.
That's a lot of people. I think we're part of the way there.
Oh, you're more than part of the way there. If you get that, listen, I had a band on last month. Everybody's talking about. They're produced by KK Downing of Judas Priest. You can figure it out, and they have an album. And I was talking about their video, and I don't even think it hit 1 million. I think the first video hit like maybe 800,000, 900,000. You guys doubled that. I had another band on that I've talked about. Everybody thinks they're kind of on your trajectory, and their videos, I don't even think hit 1/10 of what you hit. Listen, there are bands out there that are on the Billboard charts and don't get that many views. I mean, I think that's just the magnitude of what you guys accomplished. I mean, think about that. You're an independent band, and you get 2.1 million and 1.8 million views.
That's frankly, it shocked us too. We did that, but I mean, we were texting each other when we were at like 50,000, 62,000, and then it just kept going from there. And that was the first video, and then we put the other one out. Like, well, now we've set a standard. Now we've set a bar. We got to live into that bar.
Well, I think the cool thing about and again, we're fairly active in putting up content and. Keeping the algorithm, hey, look at us, kind of thing. But I'll give a shout out. I got to give 2 shout outs, 3. I think first of all, the songs, I'm biased, of course, because, I was partnering in writing them, but they're good songs. They're good songs to begin with. It's, always comes down to content, at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And I think it's good content, but then, this one here, kind of had the vision for both of those videos. Yeah. And so she kind of marshaled how that was going to look. But we were also very fortunate to partner with Magic Studios in Houston, which is where we filmed both of those. In fact, we filmed Buried when that was at the beginning of us going on tour. Yeah. We had a show with Gunshine in Katy, Texas. And then the next 2 days we filmed, we filmed the Buried video, and then we went on tour to the Isis. But Magic Studios, Kareem and Zach and the crew there were mind-boggling to work with. Yeah. And their technology that they have there. They do something called a virtual reality, which is an LED moving LED screen. And I don't mean like the screen moves, but when they put virtual environment, it puts it up. It's the same technology they filmed the whole Mandalorian series in a studio using the technology.
On the Mandalorian.
Yeah, so that whole thing was filmed in an environment. They weren't out on any.
No, so it's about as close to Hollywood as you'll get outside of Hollywood, and on a less than Hollywood budget. You know what I mean? It was pretty much amazing because they built all the sets. They had everything designed based on our, we had talked about storyboard, and so we had everything before. You know what I mean? And we had locations picked, and we had scenes created. And during the filming, then it's a lot of, what if we did this? And let's do some of this. And a lot of that ended up coming into the video. But it's been, definitely shout out to Kareem and Zach.
So it's
and
a quality of video kind of thing, I mean,
we've
done videos in the past, and everybody that's worked with us has been good at what they do. This was just they were kind of next level. If you watch production value of them, I feel they are. I feel they're just at that, they're $1 million video on a minuscule budget.
But you know what? Listen, but they hit that algorithm. They hit that threshold that you did. I mean, it's crazy if I said this to you, Steve, but I think that those videos might be arguably two of the biggest things you ever worked on.
They're amazing videos. Absolutely. I've been in a lot of videos, and when we were filming this one, I was sitting back just thinking to myself, this is going to turn out really cool. As we would film something, they would play it back on the screen and kind of show us, and they put a little effect on it, and we were like, oh man, that looks badass. And then to hear it and see it in its finished stage, it was mind-boggling. Like the Buried video that we just released not too long ago.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a story, and it holds up right next to any other major band's video.
Listen, there's major bands don't get that even. The major bands with the labels still have the labels, still get on the charts. I don't even know if they get 2 million, what you guys got. I think that shows the power of this band, why you guys are an award-winning band who have a brand new single out, Give It To Me, which is a redone version of the 2023 stuff they had put out back in the UK, and it's out now on the band's page. You can buy the single. It's only $1.29. You can even buy the brand new album, Beautiful Scars, on Amazon. You can buy it also through the band's page. So please go out there and support them. Limberlost Music on YouTube, Instagram, and we are very honored to have the band on here. Mike Burt on drums, Brittany Loren on vocals, Steve Unger on bass, and shout outs to obviously his son Devin also plays on guitar, Tony on keys. Love the keys. I love the keyboard. I attempted to be a keyboard player once upon a time, and Sammy also on vocals. And this is definitely a musician's band. I want this to be clipped. A musician's band. I don't want to hear, Seattle, Alice in Chains, Nirvana, Jimi Hendrix, Soundgarden, Metal Church, Queensryche, Heart. Yeah, I got better with it, but no, it's musician's band. Musician's band. This is what Limberlost is. They are a musician's band. And I got to ask you two more questions. One, if you guys had any advice for anybody that's an up-and-coming musician, what would it be?
Don't.
Quit now while you're ahead.
I think it was Phil Lewis of LA Guns told me his line was, find something else. Then I had that.
Now while you still have money.
Yeah, that was that. I mean, Josie Scott told me don't do drugs. That was his advice. Don't do drugs.
Yeah.
Josie's was good. Gus G told me his line was, well, you better be, basically Gus is a nice guy. He said, have a passion for it, play, make sure you love what you do. But, it's not going to be, you're not going to make the money that you think. So it runs the gauntlet on different things. And I've asked it to the WWE guys, and they say, you better look the part. You better look exactly who you are and, be in shape, be ready for what you want to do. So, I mean, runs the gauntlet. So, I mean, Steve says don't do it. Maybe we shouldn't do it. That's a good way to look at it.
I'm just kidding.
It was funny because I've heard that before. So I knew I was going to get that. That's why I asked.
Yeah, I'm just kidding. I mean, you got to make your own choices, but definitely what you said, the other guy said is you got to have a passion for it. You got to love it. And you got to do it because you love it. And then if cool things happen and big things happen for you, well, then you're one of the very, very few lucky ones. So, just do it as your passion. Do it because it's what you love to do, and just do it because it's who you are. I mean, that's why I've done it. And, I did it for a long time before I started making any real money.
That's what Joe Hoekstra told me. It was the same thing with Joe Hoekstra. He kind of bloomed late. He talked about he got the gig at, with obviously Whitesnake, but before that he had got it with Night Ranger, and it was a long journey to get to the big role. So sometimes Rome wasn't built in a day.
Yeah,
you got to be relentless. You got to be relentless. And you got to hustle.
Mm-hmm.
And say yes to everything you can, because every time you go through a door, it opens up 3 other doors.
Yeah, it's a good point. Very well. We'll take it. We'll take it. Well, I'm glad we said yes to having you guys on here, and we are very thankful you spent a minute or two with us. So I'll ask you this then: is there anything else you guys want to promote about the band before I get to closing thoughts? We've talked about the new single, talked about the album. Obviously, you've let us know there'll be some stuff in the future. Stay tuned to socials. Go to your radio station, call them up and say, I want Give It to Me. That's the big one. I mean, please do that if you can. But anything else that as a band you guys want to promote and such before we sign off?
Well, I think you touched on it.
I'd like to, I think it'd be great if if we could get 10% of those people that watch the video, to go to the website and download the new song, buy the new song. If only 10% of them did that, I could probably quit my job as a Walmart greeter.
Yes. So you gave up the thing under the freeway overpass then.
Yeah. The cardboard sign wasn't working out for me.
Yeah, Steve's point. Yeah, one of the things we've done this year is really tried to build up our e-commerce game.
I've seen that. Yeah.
And it was kind of a happy accident based on other goals we had that we didn't achieve. There's always that thing where people go, "God, how'd you do that? Well, we failed 10 times at something else, and this happened."
And then
you're looking at it and going, "God, look what you guys did," But so we had some other goals, and they didn't quite work out. But in the process of that, we built this e-commerce presence, and
oh yeah, we got all kinds of stuff.
So when it comes to
I noticed it.
When it comes to music, we have professional. We're distributed by Von Artist and 1RPM, and we. And all the digital stuff is great, but if you're going to support the band, that's where you need to support us, is on our own page and on our own store, because we don't have to cut anybody in on a deal there. That money goes straight to us being able to tour and produce and do the things we need to do. We're not quite we'd like to just be able to pay for that stuff right now. We're not quite to the survival mode that Steve wants, but but if we could just pay for the stuff we already paid for, that would be great. But do it on our website, because all that goes to us.
Yeah, I agree with that. No, totally. I say it all the time, is you want to support the artist, and the best way to support the artist is to buy something, whether it's a shirt, whether it's a download, whether it's any other type of merchandise. That's the way we support our artists. Just like when we do wrestling here in Sportzwire, we say, please hit the notification to buy a shirt there. It's the same thing here. It costs nothing to subscribe, nothing to follow, but most importantly, it can help our artists thrive and continue to be award-winning artists by going on their page and going out and buying the new single, buying the new CD, buying a shirt. There's plenty of great stuff. You can do that via the Limberlost shop page, limberlostmusic.com, limberlost-music.myshopify.com. Also, please go to Limberlost Music on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. Also, go to your radio station and tell them you want Give It to Me to be played. And we'll see them, I'm sure, coming up to a place near you. They're in the Hall of Fame. I have taken up enough of your time. I'm going to pass the baton to you guys if you have any closing thoughts, and take it away.
Well, first of all, thank you, Tom.
Yeah.
I should say the Rev Lord Tom Bryce.
Yeah, I do have the Lord. I actually got the Sealand thing. I will say that I did get that. I actually am a Lord. I am a Reverend, but I appreciate that you use the title as well. Not you're Limberlost. I mean, you guys have million award-winning videos. I'd rather be you guys than but hey, I appreciate the kind words.
Lord, pretty sweet. Pretty sweet.
Yeah, that's cool.
Well, thank you very much for having us, and it's been a lot of fun. And yeah,
stay warm out there.
Stay warm.
Yeah, it's we're getting another storm, and my friend is actually in a band that is playing, and I kind of feel like I have to go, but I don't want to go. And it's supposed to be like 40-mile-an-hour winds, and he plays in a hardcore band, so at least I'm going to be headbanging. Well, I won't be headbanging. I'll be standing by the stage, but I don't know. We'll see if I go. But I will definitely go when you guys play out there, because I have a feeling one day when you'll play here, it'll be a lot warmer, I hope, and you'll definitely warm things up for us with the brand new single, Give It to Me. And please go to your radio stations and tell them you want it to be played. Right now is the number 50 song right now on that SMR chart. We talked about who's on that chart. Yeah, these little bands, a few people have heard of Deftones, Guns N' Roses, Alter Bridge, this kid named Van Halen. Nobody knows them. Limp Bizkit, but they're on that chart with their Limberlost, and that's why you need to go out there and especially buy that single. Hit the sub button for them on YouTube, 113,000 subs. And when you get 1 million subs on YouTube, you get a big certificate. You get a big award. So when you get 1 million, you're going to get there. You're going to get 113K. When you get 1 million, they say when you get 1 million subscribers on YouTube, you get like almost like a platinum plaque or some sort. It's something like that. So you'll get that. And I have no doubt we'll talk about that then. But in the meantime, that is the one and only Steve Unger. That is Brittany Loren. And that is Mike Burt. My name is the Reverend Tom Bryce, your voice figuratively and literally where all music matters. Like, share, and subscribe. And until then, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. On the number one global radio, that is Sportswire Radio.